Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining with me today. We will talk about how to build fast with Salesforce DevOps. And thank you, Amit, for inviting me to present at Ethics Hours. My name is Sarfaraj. I work as an associate partner at IBM, and I'm an architect with over a decade of experience in the Salesforce platform. Like all architects, I'm curious and passionate about learning, and over the years, I have achieved several Salesforce certificates. Before we move forward with the presentation, I would like to highlight that I will be using some of Salesforce products that are forward-looking. Please make your purchasing decisions based on what is available today. Today's agenda items. We will be talking about daily challenges for IT. We will be walking over some of the low-code offerings in the Salesforce platform, benefits of DevOps, and new offerings what can help building a DevOps solution in Salesforce. And lastly, we will wrap up with a DevOps demo. So we understand that more is being asked of IT than ever before. There's a lot for us to tackle, from macro trends to security threats to disconnected systems and more. And on top of that, we have to continue innovation and we have to be successful on the ecosystem and the market. And that is where Salesforce Platform can help to do even more. With the Salesforce Platform, you can build apps, automate with low-code magic. The Salesforce Platform enables you to automate easily with low-code tools to streamline complex tasks, giving valuable time back to your employees so that they can focus on your customers. Build and operate intelligent apps and deliver seamless experience for both employees and customers. And lastly, but most important, secure and activate your data in real time with Salesforce Genie. With Salesforce Customer 360, your employees can be more collaborative and more productive than ever before, no matter where they are working from and what department they are in. Let's come back to low-code app development and how can we design and build apps quickly. By bringing business users and professional developers together while ensuring governance, security, and privacy teams can leverage low-code tools and extend with code when complexity rises to build apps and workflows. Gartner announced that 70% of new apps will use low-code or no-code by 2025, which is up from less than 25% in 2020. So let's see some of the low-code solutions, particularly focused on creating employee-facing apps. So here are some of the examples. To empower digital creators, Salesforce has delivered a number of major enhancements to App Builder over just the past year alone. And these enhancements range from conditional visibility for data and action, the ability to bring dynamic actions to multiple areas within a page, and continuity across desktop and mobile experiences, with the ability to optimize layouts for each form factor. And this is just the beginning. In addition to dynamic forms and actions, we have seen Salesforce to announce the next innovation in App Builder, the dynamic interaction. Along with that, there are also B2C experiences, pages and portals. We can surface customer data, action and flows at B2C scale. Also mobile support. So DevOps success on this with this context has never been more critical because innovation should be at the top of IT team's mind. With the proper DevOps practices, your teams can have more deployments more often with shorter lead time and reduced failure rate and reduced time to restore the service when you have some failed code or bug accidentally deployed into production. So the Salesforce platform has tools to help your developers journey through the stages of application lifecycle management, in brief ALM. Starting from open source development tools that are backed by an active community to secure isolated environments for testing changes, built-in technologies for ensuring data compliance, and list privilege access as you build. With modern development tools such as a powerful scriptable CLI and open source extensions to popular code editors like Visual Studio Code, developers can focus on building with the right tools and focus their energy being more productive. Salesforce encourages development in dedicated environment, we call it sandbox, and we have a variety of these to suit every need. From environments for development and experimenters such as scratch orgs and developer sandboxes, to full copy sandboxes to complete integration and user acceptance testing against all of the customer data. We also now get the controls for masking data in this environment so that your production data can be protected while we still get the entire benefit of full set of data with some anonymization on the around the sensitive information. So we can ensure that you maintain multiple dev streams without introducing risk around the data compliance. Throughout the ALM workflow, you advocate for building against a single source of truth and testing on commit to make sure desired functionality holds. Salesforce provides an open ecosystem for CI/CD partners. So the metadata API and other data facing APIs are available. So there are other partner applications also available in the ecosystem that can be leveraged. And depending on different customers or companies' DevOps journey, different application can be leveraged. And the benefit from testing automation at every step of this process is available. The process and set of supporting technologies also empowers the teams to release faster and with more confidence. More people think of the capabilities of ALM in the context of developers, and Salesforce have built an amazing developer toolset which helps the developers improve application quality by reducing the cost impact and frequency of bugs in production. Now, Salesforce has started to thinking about other low-code participants in the development process and the ALM. Meet DevOps Center. It's a modern low-code change and release management for everyone. It provides seamless and same experience across the both low-code and pro-code developer population. And it makes the life of release manager also simpler because all the items that are in progress, where they are in the stage of deployment, everything can be tracked from same place. It also helps with the life of developers, both pro-code and low-code developers, easier by tracking the changes and making sure the deployment is more efficient. We will see that in action in our demo. So Declarative DevOps experience for Salesforce is one end-to-end management of Salesforce development pipeline, and it gives declarative experience. So the migration of changes across testing environment can be done with clicks. There is no multiple tab switching or multiple application switching is required. Hybrid teams can work together. As I mentioned, declarative programmers and users can collaborate using the same tool of their choice. And it democratizes the DevOps. So modern best practices like source control, testing, CI/CD is for everyone. And it gives a single view of changes for your release manager so that their life is also easier. They know exactly where each of the changes are, and it gives them the benefit and confidence or the stability of each of their environments. Meet Salesforce Code Builder. This is another suite of tool, and it came as open beta by last July of this year. And it enables the developers, the pro code developers, to build from anywhere and anyway. with a modern web-based dev environment. What we explained before about the Visual Studio Code and plugin, all of this is available within Salesforce Code Builder with no configuration needed on a computer. So you can just launch it from your browser, you can start using it, and you get the advantage of developer experience for LWC, Apex, Visual Force, and also it boosts the productivity of the developers. And we can, all of our developers can use the all the tools with consistent experience, as no individual computer configuration or anything is required. So everyone gets the seamless same experience. If you need to upgrade, say for instance, your plugin VS Code version or plugin version, you can deploy the changes in your across your developer ecosystem. Now is the time for demo. We will see DevOps Center in action and also Code Builder. Meet eBikes. eBikes is a company. They manufacture and sells electronic bikes. And this page is their product listing. We can see different product models, how they look like, the price, and all the information. We have a requirement to have the ability to retire a product. And for that, our product owner have envisioned that we need some ability to retire a product, and also we would like to hide the retired products from the product listing. So these two work items have been defined within DevOps Center. So this screen is DevOps Center. Before I move forward, I will walk you through a little bit on what are the different components. So this page is a project. So we create a project within DevOps Center. We create a pipeline connecting all of our different sandbox environments and production environment. And we define different stages. For instance, we have a development stage. We go from there into integration, UAT, staging, and finally production. And we can see some of the stories have been recently promoted. We can also see all the list of environments that we have and different environment status. We can see all the these two dev environments are up to date with latest version of our pipeline, and also we can see different version of our software across different environments. We can also see one environment is not in sync, and we can definitely go in and see more details about what is the difference. We will come to this differences and other information as we move forward with the demo. We also have the ability to review our activity history, what happened in our pipeline and across the board, what are the changes deployed, what time, who did it, all those good stuff. And so this is the listing I was talking about. Apologies, it took a few seconds to load. But yeah, so this shows different dates, what are the different items got promoted, which work item, who worked on it, all those information. We also have a settings tab where we can manage our environments. If we need to add a new environment in our pipeline, we will authenticate that environment from here. All the authentication are managed, and so that the advantage is once we connect that particular environment, we don't need to log into those environments when we need to go in. And it has two levels of authentication. One is at the pipeline level, which usually a release manager will configure for the first time when that sandbox or production environment is provisioned, and they will connect that environment. And going forward, all the pipeline deployments will happen through that authentication. And definitely, if authentication expired, depending on your policy, how long that token becomes active, re-authentication might be required from time to time. And second piece is user level authentication. So when a developer, for instance, this Dev7 sandbox, when they want to build something there, they will log in using their individual login. and as part of the first time configuration, and going forward it will utilize their own credential, so not the pipeline configuration, to make the changes in that specific sandbox environment, and those changes can be pulled and pushed into the source control, and from there it will again pick up in deployment for the next environments. We also have a source control in the place. For the first time configuration of the project, we need to connect it to a GitHub repository. Currently it supports only GitHub, and one repository per project. You can have multiple projects using the same set of environments depending on how your functionalities work. If there are clear segregation between functionalities and it makes sense for you to split your entire code base into multiple repository, it is definitely possible. You just need to create multiple projects, and you need to connect with the right repository. So with that background, let me go to our low-code developer Bob Smith's view. So he received this work item. You remember we have two work items. One is ability to retire a product, and second is using that ability to retire a product, we would like to hide that retired product from our product view. So Bob is our low-code declarative expert who will work on creating that ability to retire a product. So he will go into the work item, and definitely there is a details tab. You can review more details. If there are some more complex details that you need to review, those will be available under description. For now, it is quite simple. All we want is we would like to create a custom field in the product object, which will mark that product as a retired product. And there are multiple sandboxes available. As I mentioned, different sandboxes will have different user developer specific credentials. So once Bob or any developer uses that particular sandbox for the first time, they will be asked to authenticate that. For our demo, we already taken care of that before. So Bob already has a credential in this dev6 sandbox. He will just select the sandbox and proceed. And you can see it automatically created a branch with the work item number in our GitHub. It shows the branch right here. If for some reason Bob need to go and review something there, it can be right from here, can go in there. But for the purpose of Bob is a low-code developer. It is helpful for him that DevOps Center is automatically taking care of all the technical nitty-gritties of creating a branch, tagging it with the work item, and so on and so forth. So Bob, what he will do next, he will click on this link and go into directly the sandbox environment. As I mentioned before, the authentication will happen automatically and Bob will get into the environment. And as you can see, we are in Dev6 sandbox, and we can see that the product listing page. So what Bob would do, Bob will go into the product detail page. It can be done right from here. So I will see the product details, and from there we will go into the edit object and create a new custom field named retired. So I'll create a new checkbox field and I'll give it a name as retired. Default value is unchecked, and we'll go to next, accepting the default settings. It might take a second. So we have in the next page, we will not give any permission to any profile. For this application, we are managing a permission set to have the field visibility. So we will go into that permission set to add the edit permission to this field next. So we will save this page layout addition as well. We definitely want that field in the page layout. So we will go into permission sets view, we will open our e-bikes permission set and we will add the new custom field. We will go into the edit mode of the field listing for product object, and we will give permission to the new retired field that we just created and save it. So that's about it for the ability to retire a product. We will have that field in the product page now. So Bob will do some unit testing. Bob will verify that the new field is available in the page layout. He has permission to edit, and that's about the change. So next step, Bob will come back to DevOps Center as he has finished the changes. He will pull those changes into DevOps Center. It interacts with Salesforce metadata API to find out all the changes that happened using source tracking feature of sandboxes. It is one important point to note that it is mandatory for all the developer sandboxes to be enabled with source tracking. It is not required for any of the higher environments like integration, UAT, or your any other full sandbox and everything. But for developer sandboxes, it is required. And for the obvious reason, because DevOps Center relies on the source tracking feature for this functionality to work. Otherwise, it wouldn't know which changes happened. So it is very important to note. And alternatively, it is definitely possible to do everything outside of DevOps Center or using any other tool if you are using. So in that case, developers can pick and choose manually what are the components they would like to pull and check into their source control. So I will select the permission set that I have updated, the new custom field, the updated product layout. So that's about it. There are some additional changes for some of the things that still changed in the developer sandbox, but those are not relevant for this particular work item, so we will not pick those. Those can remain in the sandbox. So we will add git comment that it gives us ability to retire a product, and we will commit the changes. Right from here, it pulls all the changes and it takes care of the commit. And you can see some of the status messages, what is happening here. Behind the scene, it pulls the changes, it pushes those into the specific work item specific branch, and it will take care of committing the changes along with the using the comment that Bob has provided. It is currently at retrieving metadata stage and it is in progress, and we will see that it will continue and going through it and it will commit. There are different files pulled and the commit has completed and we can see that status. So with this, Bob has finished his changes, commit is done. The next step is have it reviewed with maybe his team lead or a peer review. So Bob will create a review right from here. And as part of that process, depending on the complexity of your org, the level of stage gates needed, definitely you can implement all the processes needed. You can have those review, conversation, everything happen. And once everything is ready, next step will be marking the story as ready to promote. And I would also like to highlight that this can be done by a different person if your process requires that. So we can see the story or the work item marked as ready to promote, and we can go into our pipeline view and we will see that one work item is now approved and it is ready to promote. So we will select the item and promote. What it will do, it will give us a prompt. First of all, it gives us an option that to promote the changes, we can definitely move everything that is not in, integration branch or all metadata from our source branch. And also it provides us ability to run any test classes if we need. For this configuration change, it is not really needed. We will go with the default option. So what you will notice on the screen, it started promoting. What it will first do, it will clone the source branch, it will merge it with integration branch, and it will deploy the metadata from that merged branch into the integration sandbox. And we will have the ability to log into integration branch, the integration sandbox, and verify our changes. For the purpose of our demo, what we will do, we will test both of these features together because it makes sense. We have the field created. We already unit tested in our source sandbox. We will wait for the next piece of work item, that hiding the hiding the products using this new field into in the product listing page, and we will test both of them together in the integration sandbox. So with that, let me switch to our Pro Code developer Olivia's view. So Olivia has received, same way as Bob, a new work item to hide the retired products from the product listing. Olivia will go into the work item and select her dev sandbox. It is very much possible to develop in using the same environment depending on the level of complexity, but it is recommended to have separation of concern, and individual developers should have their own environment to build, and so that they step on each other's toe less. And it is possible to do using Dev Sandbox or Scratch org or Developer Pro, depending on how your strategy is. So Olivia will select her Dev Sandbox that is different from Bob's environment and will try to proceed. And this gives her one error message. It says that the environment is out of sync. It makes sense because Bob has created a new field that has been promoted to the integration environment, but that field is not in Dev's 7 sandbox. That is where Olivia is trying to build. So it gives her one message. It is possible to override it if Olivia knows for sure that that particular change is independent of what she is going to do. In that case, it is possible to move forward with not syncing it. But as for this particular use case, we will be utilizing that new custom field in our custom code. So we definitely need that change. So for that, we will go to the environments tab and we will see what is the change. So for our demo, we definitely know that that is the change for that one field. But if there are more, it is definitely possible from here to view what is the difference. And it will list all the stories that happened from the last sync, last time this particular environment was synced with integration. And when I'm saying synced with integration, it is usually called as back promotion. So the back promotion was done last time, and from then maybe 2 or 3 stories has been developed. All of those changes will be listed here. Definitely the developer can review what are those changes. If required, it is also possible to have some manual intervention if there are other conflicting changes that need some special activity. So for the purpose of our demo, we are good. We can just go ahead and pull that change straight ahead. So what we will do, we will use the sync feature of DevOps Center, and we will say changes not in development environment, we want everything. So we will do the start sync. And it will show us a status message that it is syncing. It will do the back sync being queued, and it will pull all the changes and it will deploy into the sandbox environment. We will wait for this to finish, and then we will proceed with selecting this sandbox environment and then proceeding with our change. You can also see in the message what is the change being deployed. All those information are right from here we can check. And while it is happening, I'll also explain one more thing. As you recall that we deployed one work item into integration sandbox. So we can see that it is version 1.0 plus one work item. This change is still in the integration stage. It is not migrated to UAT or any higher environment. We can see the difference right from here. So our back promotion is successful. We have the change in the Dev7 sandbox. So we can now proceed with our work item. So I will go back to our work item and I will select the sandbox and proceed. So like before, in the previous work item, it created a new branch again, and it tags the branch right here, and it shows us the sandbox. So like Bob's, Olivia also will be able to click right from here and go into the sandbox to start working on the work item. So right from here, like Bob's sandbox, it is also already pre-authenticated and go in right from there. And Olivia's homepage is a little bit different from Bob's homepage. She lands into the code builder. So it gives us the ability right from here to launch the code builder. And we already have that launched, but it seamlessly it's possible. Just click on this button and it takes you into this interface. So this is Code Builder, gives you the entire experience of Visual Studio Code with Salesforce Developer Experience right from your browser. You don't need to install anything in your computer. So next step, what Olivia will do will, she already has the product controller open. So we will do a change here to consider the newly created retired field and add it to the filter. So small walkthrough through the code. Here is the SOQL query. Select from the fields from product object, and it adds a where clause. That where clause is being created using joining a criteria list of string using a separator and that criteria list of string is populated based on certain filters. There are some option in the product listing page to put certain input as a filter, and those filters are applied using this join. So right before the filter addition, I will add a condition to consider the retired field. So I will add if retired is false, and this will be appended with the where clause. So I will save this change and I will deploy this source to the org. It will take care of updating the org with this new change. And I will wait for this deployment to finish. Then we will proceed with pulling these changes and committing into our branch. It might take a few seconds. Please bear with me. All right. So we can see that Apex class is now deployed to the sandbox org. So next what we will do, we already have the changes done. We will do some testing in the sandbox. We will go into the e-bikes application and we will verify that our changes is working. So we will go into the product page and we will make a one particular product as retired. We open Dynamo X1, so we will retire this particular bike. And we will go back to our product explorer and we will verify that Dynamo X1, that was first item in our list previously, is no longer in the list. So our ability to retire a product and hiding that product from the list, both of these functionalities are working. So we have verified with our unit test. So the next step, what we will do, we will pull the change from our DevOps Center and we will commit this. So we have this product controller. We will say that hide retired product and we will commit the change and like what we have seen in Pob's change, it gives us exactly same experience. Olivia was working out of a VS Code experience in the code builder. It is very much possible to check in the change right from there, from a VS Code into the Git repository. We already had that connected as well, but we want to have the same experience here, because we also have to, not only committing it, we also have to move that change across the pipeline. In real life, that committing the change to the branch and moving across pipeline probably will be taken care of different person, but for the purpose of demo we will be going through by the same demo user. So same way, Olivia will create a review, and she will review her changes with the team lead or peer review as applicable. For the purpose of demo, if you have noticed, I have not made any change in our unit test class. Definitely in real life, please don't do that. Make sure it is taken care of as part of your unit testing test class as well. Verify that we unit tested from the UI, but also make sure to cover that using Apex unit test, that you have a new field. If you mark it as retired, that product is not coming as part of the so-called result. Definitely that verification is needed in a real project. So we will mark this as ready to promote. We just want to get through this. We want to see it in action as a combined change in the next environment. So we will select the item and we will promote the selected item, and we will just move the item that are not in the integration environment. As part of the demo, we are not running test classes and everything, but it is definitely possible to select a default test run or specific test. For this particular change, probably specific test run is more applicable, because you want to verify what you have changed. That will minimize event deployment time, not running the entire org's code change. But if your code change and the work item has more impact, definitely run those impacted areas unit test classes as well to verify nothing is breaking. We will go into the integration environment right from here, and we will verify the change same way what we have done in the unit testing in Dev Sandbox. So it will open right from the pipeline. We don't need to remember another additional set of username and password. So we will go in for the same product, Dynamo X1, and we will retire this product same way we did in the dev environment, and we will verify in the product explorer, and we can see that it is working seamlessly, and the deployment was quite fast. All the items combined together and everything is working as expected. For the remaining steps in the pipeline, we will not be going over through our demo, but I want to highlight one small item or a feature that if you see this button labels, promote selected and promote as work item bundle, this work item bundle is this button name is different from UAT environment onwards. And the reason behind that is as part of the pipeline setup, we have marked the UAT environment as bundling stage. So before UAT, integration environment may have different changes that maybe two developers are working in parallel. One developer has created maybe one or two user stories, another person is still working on certain things, that story probably is not ready for promotion to your user acceptance testing stage. So that particular change can remain in the integration stage while other change is promoted in the environment. But that is different when some stories hit the UAT environment. All the items that you move here will has to be moved as a bundle from the next environment onwards, and this is to support your stage gates and your ability to plan releases and everything. So from here we don't really move stories individually. From development environment to integration, we move stories individually. From integration environment to UAT, we move stories individually. From UAT and onwards, we move everything as a bundle. And we also version the stage. So let's call it 1.1. Our previous version was 1.0, as you might have noticed while I was showing difference between different environments. So our version of code is now 1.1, and we will promote this and from UAT to staging, and finally staging to production, and so on. I hope you enjoyed this demo. I'll go back to our slide deck to cover one last thing. Please note the Apex Hours page and Apex Hours YouTube channel. Please follow up there. Amit is doing a great job there. And thank you again, Amit, for inviting me to present here. I hope you enjoyed the demo and other content that I presented today. Thank you very much.